Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Discover Your Intuitive Self. And I am your host, Brenda Reading. So tonight, we are going to talk about, hold on to your hat, ethics in mediumship/readings. I know, some of you are probably laughing, having a little chuckle to yourself, or raising your eyebrows. Is there really such a thing? But there is. There is ethics in mediumship/readings. And I will tell you what I believe they are based on my training and based on other mediums that I know and have had discussions with that have been doing this for a much longer time than myself. So the first thing that I believe in the code of mediumship is, and this I believe with my whole heart, is that this work that we do as mediums, it's a sacred trust between you, yourself, the medium, spirit, and the sitter. Okay? There is responsibility that the reader, which would be myself, holds in the palm of their hand when communicating from spirit to the sitter. Okay? And we take that very seriously. The reading itself should be uplifting. There should be some type of healing in some way. For you, the sitter, it's important that with this reading, you feel some type of healing or upliftment. There are some things that should not happen in a reading as well. You should not be told that you are going to die, okay? That is between you and God of your understanding. That is not something that should be coming to you from a medium or psychic reader. The reading is always the intention of the highest and best good of the sitter, the person that is getting the reading. Okay? That is why there usually is some sort of process to the reading itself. And I have been trained that we open the reading with a prayer. I call in our, and I say our because it's a process between the three of us. Myself, the sitter, and spirit. So I call in our spirit guides, our spirit teachers, our spirit loved ones into the area, right, into this process. I ask that myself be a clear and perfect channel for this highest and best good of my sitter. I am a mere tube. I am a tube from which information from spirit flows, okay? Then I surround us both in the beautiful pink and white, unconditional, loving light of the God of our understanding. And then I give gratitude because I know that the words spoken are coming from the highest and best, okay? And then I connect. So tips for you as a sitter in the reading. You should not be asked a lot of questions before the reading begins, okay? My teacher called that fishing, all right? Personally, I prefer not to know anything about the person so that they know when there is information that comes in that I have no way of knowing, they know that I am being told that by their spirit loved ones on the other side. And I will tell you, with using Zoom and telephone readings, because we haven't been doing in-person readings as much because of the pandemic, I personally love them. I like the fact that I do not necessarily see the person's reactions to things because there's a lot of trust that goes into a reading between the reader and spirit. We are talking to people that we don't know. They're your people. They're not my people, right? So we're talking to people that we don't know about things that we have no knowledge of. Okay? So we have to learn how to trust that what we are being given is accurate. And sometimes when we're not necessarily, hearing everything or seeing everything in the way that you would understand, because we will ask you, does this resonate with you? Okay, does this make sense to you? Because once you as the sitter accepts the information and says, yes, I know who this is, or yes, I know what you're talking about, okay? The connection becomes even better. And then the information flows even smoother and even quicker through the tube, right? So if you don't understand something that your medium reader is saying to you, it's best that you say to them, this isn't quite making sense to me. And then as the medium, we can go back to spirit, however we're connecting, because all mediums work differently. We can go back to spirit and we can ask for more information, for clarification, for more accuracy. Now that just in itself was an amazing thing for me to learn, because when I started having experiences and I didn't understand what was happening to me, when I finally got to Lilydale and I got some training, I was taught that this spirit is an intelligence. It has intelligence, and you can ask questions. I know, right? You thought your eyebrows were raised before. Well, right? Just blew your mind. How do you think I felt? You can actually ask for more information, and they will give it to you, okay? And as a reader, it's not really our job to try to make things fit into your world. It is our job to give you what we're hearing, what we're receiving, what we're seeing as it is, and so that you know and you make the interpretation of what it is. Now, some readers work with a lot of symbology, and sometimes I get symbols too, like I'll get numbers and things like that. And I know from doing the readings in the past that for me, what it usually means, okay? So let's get back to tips for you as the sitter. Medical advice, okay? Unless your reader is a physician, okay, they should always preface any information of that type with the phrase, I am not a doctor. I do not and cannot diagnose or prescribe, okay? Because once again, we are a tube and we are hearing, seeing, sensing, knowing, using our different clairs, right? Our different gifts of the spirit to give you this information. Now, I myself, I do medical intuitive readings. Been trained to do medical intuitive readings. I go through the body and I let you know what I'm feeling, what I'm sensing, what I'm seeing, but it is never a replacement for medical intervention, okay? There have been many times that I have given the advice to a client, I think you should go get your mammogram. How long has it been since your checkup? I think you should XYZ, okay? It is not my place to diagnose an illness. So the other things that would be helpful for you to know is that everyone has free will, okay? Free will, which means every moment people are making choices in their life, okay? And those choices, everything is connected, okay? And the choice that you make or that someone else makes in your world that interacts with you can affect your life and resultingly can also affect what has happened after your reading, okay? So I'm not saying that everything that we say in a reading is just, oh, it's just for right this second, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is that we have free will. And if you're told something in your reading, you can wake up the next day and make a choice to do something different in your life that can change the outcome of what you understood your reading to be. Okay? So the other thing that I want to tell you is, like I said, mediums work differently, okay? Some work more with symbols, some work more with seeing, clairvoyance, some is clairaudience. And as you develop your own intuitive gifts, you will develop your connection with spirit And you may find that there are certain ways that Spirit communicates to you through a guide, through whoever is on the other side that you're working with, that makes your reading clearer for you or the sitter. Okay? So those are some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, because there are ethics involved, in my opinion, okay, when it comes to readings and meeting with people to do readings. The other thing I wanted to talk about is if you should think that you are receiving the intuitive information. Some people, it starts with doing healing, okay? They know where to place their hands. They know what part of the body needs more healing. They hear things during the healing. They see things. It can happen like that. That can be a way that your intuitive gifts can open up, okay? I have had a few guest hosts on the show, and I have asked them, when did you realize you had your gifts and wanted to develop your gifts? One of the things I wanted to share with you tonight is an experience that was like, hello, Brenda, something's going on here, which led me to get my training for my intuitive gifts. And I'll tell you what I mean here. Years ago, I was led to learn how to do iridology. Now, iridology is the study of the iris of your eye. And I could do a whole show for you on iridology and how it works and how old it is and how different markings and colors and textures on your iris correspond to the various parts of your body, okay? So you go to, I went to get training for this so that I could look in people's irises and help them. This was before I went for training for my spiritual gifts. Well, I had a client referred to me, and I didn't know this person at all. I didn't know this gentleman. And earlier in the day, I was feeling tired, so I tried to lay down and take a nap. And Spirit, now I know it was Spirit. At the time, I didn't know. I kept being interrupted from going to sleep because this vision of a medieval knight with the armor on, okay, silver armor, the whole metal chains and everything, and this big red cross on his chest. I kept seeing this medieval knight with the red cross on his chest, and I couldn't go to sleep. So I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I went to my appointment with this gentleman, and it was interesting because I was looking at the iris of his eye, and I was looking at the spleen area in the eye, and there was a marking on it, and I'd never seen that before. And I asked him, I said, you have this marking on the spleen area of your eye. And he says, I was overseas in the service, and I contracted anthrax. Well, anthrax affects the spleen. So I thought that was pretty amazing, just for the iridology piece of it. But as I'm reading his eye, the medieval knight with the red cross is back. And it's like I can't get him out of my head. And so at this point, I just throw all caution to the wind and I say, so-and-so, I have to share something. And of course, I preface it with the proverbial, you might think I'm crazy, but, and I tell him that I've been seeing this medieval crusader with the red cross all day. And he looks at me and he says, oh, I'm so glad you told me. You see, he says, I was once in the seminary. I met my wife-to-be. I left the seminary. But I have been struggling recently because I miss my service to the church. And I have been trying to figure out if, should I go back? Should I be doing things X, Y, Z? He goes, and to me, you seeing this medieval knight with the red cross is confirmation that, yes, this is what I need to do. And I felt very humbled that this had happened. but I was happy that that's what it meant for him. So we get done with the reading, and he says, I would like you to see my wife and do a reading on her eye. I do want to tell you ahead of time that she has breast cancer. But he says, I want you to do a reading for her anyway. And I said, okay. So we set up the appointment. I did the reading. And there you go. In the breast area of the iris was a marking that I would know that there was some type of event taking place there. I said, well, this is what, your husband had told me and the XYZ. Well, they said that in a very few short amount of days after that day of the reading, that she was scheduled to have a procedure. Wouldn't you know it, that weekend, all I kept hearing was second opinion, more, second opinion, more, there's more, second opinion. And I thought, this has to be for this woman. So once again, I step out of my comfort zone and I call up the gentleman and I say, look, you're going to probably think I'm crazy, but he says, no, just tell me. And I told him exactly what had been happening with me all weekend, that I could not get rid of these words in my head. Well, wouldn't you know it? They went for a second opinion. She had a more invasive type of cancer behind the first cancer and had a more involved procedure. The whole thing, the whole experience, the medieval night with the Red Cross and the words all weekend that I could not get out of my brain, said to me, Bren, something bigger than you is happening. And you need to find out what is going on, because you're supposed to be helping people. I will tell you, my husband has told me over the years, and he believes this with all his heart. He said, God gives us little tests. And when we pass those little tests, he gives us more. And he gives us more responsibility. And the more responsibility that we accept and that we do, the more he gives us. So my belief is that these readings that I do and that mediums do is a service. We are doing a service to the sitter. We are trying to provide comfort, resolution, healing, information. And if you feel that developing your intuitive gifts would be something that you would feel would be of service to others, then I would highly suggest to you to go and find out more about them and get more training too. That felt so good to talk about that. So anyways, I believe I have a caller, Jolene, on the line.
Yes, that's correct.
Jolene, thank you for waiting. I know you were hanging out for a little bit. How can we help you tonight?
Give me a minute. Okay, I lost my fiance over a year ago. It will be 2 years this June 4th, and I would like to know if he's still here with me and if he has any messages for me.
Okay, Jolene. So just give me a second to step into your energy, because right now I'm saying my prayer. I'm saying my prayer just like we talked about. Okay? Actually, I prayed before the show started. Okay? Okay, what I feel, okay, so do you find spare change laying around, Jolie?
Not really. I found about 3 feathers in my room, and I have no birds that check.
Okay, so you're finding feathers. He was showing me nickels, okay, of the, a nickel, all right? So I don't know what the 5 means, and as I just talked about symbols, right? He was showing me nickels, but I feel like he's definitely leaving things for you, okay, in places that they wouldn't normally be, and things that you wouldn't normally even look for, okay? So, yes. So you said it's been 2 years coming up since he passed. So
that's good.
So I'm being, okay, so he's being a little persistent about the change. So watch for that too. Okay? Watch for the loose change here and there that shows up. But yes, I feel like he is with you. Not all the time though, because he's got business to do on his side too. You know, he's got his growth and things to take care of where he is. He feels like he was a larger man, like he was muscular to me. I mean, he feels like he was well developed, okay, as I step into your energy. And that he took care of himself. Okay? Does that resonate with you, Jolie?
Yes, when we met, he was healthy. He drank, and he passed away from cirrhosis of the liver. But he did drink when we first met. Yes, he was a drinker.
He was a heavy drinker. Okay, that I wasn't. Yes. He was showing me his physique.
He was a drinker. Yes.
Okay, he was showing me his muscles. All right. So I feel like he would have been, you know, someone that was proud of his physique. Does that resonate with you, Jolie?
Somewhat.
Okay.
He did take care of me. He did care for me a lot. He went away. He went out of town 3 times with his sister, and every time he brought me back something, and I still have everything that he brought back to me.
Okay. All right.
Louis means a lot to me.
Yeah. I feel like he's telling me that the drinking was familial, you know, that there was drinking in his family. I feel like there was things that didn't help the situation from his childhood. But I think if you were to go back in his ancestry line, you might see that there were other people in the family that also had alcohol issues, okay? Especially, you know, with, you know, the cirrhosis of the liver and everything that goes with it. Okay? Does that resonate with you?
Yes. I don't know about his family. He wasn't open and honest with me. And we were together for a while, and I didn't want to cross my boundaries with him. So when and I didn't want to pry into his personal life. If he wanted to tell me, he would. But, you know, I really didn't want to pry as to it. You know, but he did take care of me. He was a trucker when we first met. I did go on the road with him, and I loved it. I mean, we moved from Dunedin up to Dunedin, which is Marion County. We lived about 5 minutes from the water, Rainbow River. We went fishing, and we went to the flea market every weekend, which I missed.
Yeah. Well, I want you to, you know, those feathers that you talk about that are in your bedroom?
Yeah.
I want
3 of them.
I think you should take one of them and put them in your car, because it's like
I don't drive. I don't.
Oh, you don't drive? Okay.
No,
so
I walk.
Okay. Yeah, it feels like, you know, the road trip. You know, you should have it. You should have it with you. You should have that feather with you. You know.
As I said, when we first met, he was a trucker. I went with him, which I loved going, seeing the sunset, seeing the moonrises and the shores. I loved it. I miss that. I mean, when he was on the road, when I was there with my mom, we used to talk at night. Before we went to bed, and he was a wonderful man, and after he passed away, I discovered that I'm an empath. I can read tarot and oracle cards, but I haven't read any for a while because of what's been going on with my mom. I'm her caretaker right now.
Yes, your hands are full. You're very busy.
More times than I care to count, but last 2 times she was in for pneumonia and COPD.
Oh,
and her lungs are very weak. She's on oxygen. So, yeah, I do what I can. But I can go over to my friends, which gives me a break, and I can go to the mall, you know, which gives me a much needed break. You know, but
I feel like, even though, if I may, I feel like he would want you, you know, I know right now that you are very busy with caring for your mother, and just the pandemic and everything. You have to be very careful in all this. But once this passes, okay, and you can take a deep breath and release all of that, I really feel that he would want you to be able to start anew, okay, like a new beginning, and bless all of the time that you spent with each other, and hold it in a sacred place in your heart. But he would definitely want you to be happy and see those sunsets and do those things again. Okay, Jolie?
Yeah, when he first passed, not right away, but someone gave me like a journal. So, and I've been writing in it, and I go.
Oh, good.
I look what I wrote, and it brings me to tears sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm still hurting.
I know.
I'm still hurting.
I know. And you know what? I will tell you quickly, honey, that it's harder for them to get to us when we are so caught up in our. So if you can somehow focus on the good and focus on the happiness that you did have with him, he may be able to break through and give you some type of a message of some sort. Okay? So
and
thank you for calling.
Sometimes I talk to him at night too.
Oh, good. Because you know what? They hear us. They do hear us. So thank you, Jolie. Take care of yourself. God bless you. And thank you for calling. Okay, so thanks again, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And I just want to encourage you to go to my website, BrendaReading.com. Sunday, February 14th, I'm leading a meditation message circle with Santosha, and you can come and practice and give messages as well. So have a great week. I will see you next week. Take care.